Now, digitalisation helps to simplify our lives. However, it's also led to a significant increase in cybercrime. This has put citizens, businesses and government at high risk of financial and data loss, identity theft and cyber extortion. The Council for Scientific and Industrial Research briefed the media earlier today on the latest cybercrime trends. The briefing also looked at using biometrics to increase child security and simplify the process of finding missing children. A platform that aids in monitoring leaked personal information and data breaches was also presented. The CSIR is collaborating with the South African Police Service in establishing the cybercrime designated point of contact facility. Let's chat more now about these latest cybercrime trends. I'm joined by the CSIR's cybersecurity systems expert and research group leader, Billy Petzer. Thank you very much, Billy, for your time here on eNCA. Just explain to us exactly what you presented in terms of new trends when it comes to cybercrime in South Africa.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me. I think to maybe sum up what the presentation was about today is that we have seen a great increase in cyber incidents on a local level. Now, it's an international problem, but locally we have some certain specific socioeconomic problems that further exacerbate the problem. So it was important for us to understand, what does the landscape look like? What are our current challenges? And what can the CSIR do to address these niche and specific challenges we are currently facing in South Africa?
All right. So in terms of the trends that you announced today, did you also have advice to businesses and individuals on how to protect themselves?
Certainly. So I think we first need to look at what the risks are, what the problems are. I think to individuals, identity theft is quite rife at the moment. It's a big problem. Also things like cyber extortion, ransomware, also impact business. So we need to look at these things and then see how do we best address them. For the individual, of course, always best to not share any personal information, be that online or in person. Take care of what you share with who. Luckily, we have legislation now like the POPI Act, which speaks to organizations and how they process and store and share our information. So we still have a long way to go there, but it is having quite an impact. I think in terms of the private sector, there has been quite a big emphasis on security. In the private sector, we have quite a good skill set on cybersecurity, but we don't have enough people, and that is always the challenge.
All right, so tell us more about this designated point of contact, that this facility that you'll be establishing with the SAPS, because as South Africa, we all know, we've been found wanting when it comes to our intelligence in this country. So how will the CSIR assist, state security and intelligence?
So the Cybercrimes Act defines what's called the cybercrime designated point of contact, which is a capability that should exist within the structures of the South African Police Service. So we are quite excited to currently be collaborating with the South African Police Service to design and implement this designated point of contact. And what this designated point of contact will do at the end of the day is it will aid in providing a centralized capability for cybercrime reporting and investigation.
All right. So basically, will it be a facility where there's both personnel from the CSIR and SAPS?
So the facility will be run by the South African Police Service, but what the CSIR is doing is we're providing some of our skills and expertise, again, to define the capability and to get it to a fully fledged operational state. We're also providing some of our cybersecurity, cybercrime and forensics capabilities to support the SAPS counterparts.
Tell me, do you think this move, this partnership between yourselves and SAPS and this facility will likely assist us, in terms of being considered to be taken off the grey list? Because these were one of the things that put South Africa on a grey list, in terms of security and intelligence in our country not being at the level in which the international world expected. Is this move also going to likely assist us?
A great question. So I think there are many factors that feed into the grey list, this only being one of them. We do believe that the designated point of contact will go quite far in terms of securing the country further, also making cybercrime investigation and reporting more effective. So I think that will be one of the factors and part of the confluence of things that would hopefully get us off of the grey list.
What do you think is taking South Africa so long to move to biometrics? Because, that I assume is the safest way, because we don't share, well, most of us at least, until you have unless you have an identical twin. But I think there's also a difference in your eyes and whatever. The fingerprints are always different, etc. What's taking us so long to get there? I mean, even things such as voting. What's taking our country so long to arrive at a place where most of what we do to allow someone into the systems we use is biometrical?
So from a security perspective, biometrics is only one of the ways in which you can authenticate yourself. So I wouldn't say biometrics alone is the holy grail or the be-all and end-all, but I think part of a robust security environment would include biometrics as a way to prove that you are who you say you are. I think the challenge with that has been that the technology has not maybe been as mature as it needs to be. Also, for a long time, we've been reliant on international technologies. They weren't maybe necessarily more tailor-made for our needs locally. So that's part of what we are focusing on. So in terms of child biometrics, we have quite a good biometric capability for child recognition. If you think a baby, you can't really take its fingerprints when it's a few days old, it won't still. So our team has developed ear biometrics, for example, which is unique as well, believe it or not, which will allow you to uniquely identify a child from a very young age. So there are many applications we can use with that for the Department of Home Affairs, for example. But yeah, I think international technologies has mostly been what we've been using, and we need to innovate more locally and make things that are more bespoke for our needs.
So I have to ask you this question. The big news in the past few weeks has been the Thabo Bester story, escaping from prison, etc. A lot of experts have told us on channel that he's probably already skipped the country. So is that CSIR facility that you're establishing with the SAPS likely to help us even around things like that, to make sure that people who are in trouble with the law around here aren't able to easily just skip the country?
Yes, certainly. I think, of course, it all depends on the information that's available and the systems that are made available. But as part of the designated point of contact, certainly the intention is for this capability to aid in expediting these kinds of investigations. Again, so you can catch someone maybe before they get to the point where they can skip the country. I think also in terms of biometrics, things we're looking at is in terms of biometrics at borders, these kinds of things, to make it more difficult to lie about who you are when you do leave the country. So we can detect at that point when someone is trying to leave when they shouldn't.
Well, I wish this system was already in place before many things have happened in our country. Thank you so much for speaking to us there about your media briefing that happened earlier. That was CSIR Cybersecurity Systems Expert and Research Group Leader, Billy Petzer.